Let's be honest, Record of Ragnarok's anime was weak. It was trash, but the manga, that's something else. That thing was legit. Now, if you like those kind of things, I got two straight up tournament style mangas that you'll also love. So if you're new here, what we do is we break down anime and manga to see if it's actually worth your time. Because me, I'm working 40 plus hours a week, and I don't like wasting my weekends reading some stuff that's just mid. So let's just go ahead and get straight on to it. Now, the first up, we got Tenkaichi, the greatest warrior under the rising sun. So imagine you got an alternate history. Everybody knows who Oda Nobunaga is, but here it's a little bit different. After he unified Japan, he's dying. 10 years later, he's dying. He's trying to pick up a new successor, and the way he decides to do it is by having a anything goes death tournament with 16 different warlords choosing one champion to represent them. Now, pretty much every single one of these warriors are superhuman, and if you like Record of Ragnarok, you kind of like the fact that we're not limited by the regular human capabilities. Now, they do a lot of good things here, and I gotta say, first and foremost, it's the artwork. In my opinion, I don't think it's as detailed and as good as the Record of Ragnarok's manga, but it's still elite. I mean, the fights are brutal, they're detailed, and it's super easy to see things. I mean, there's no confusion when you see their fight choreography. Sometimes you see some other mangas and you're trying to follow along what's going on with the fights, and you're like, what the hell just happened? But here, it's really easy to see. But the part that kind of surprised me was I thought this was just going to be a battle manga, a tournament manga where it's just fights and I just want to see who wins. But they actually do a pretty good job of tying you in emotionally. Because, of course, it's about who's stronger, but that's not just the only thing. Because we get into a little bit of the backstories, but not too much. Just enough to figure out what their personality is like and what motivates them. What motivates them to win. And it's not just necessarily for them, but also for their warlord. Now, I'm not going to lie, I didn't really think that I would care too much about their motivations, but they did a good job of weaving that into the story without taking away from the battles. Now, if there were bad things to say about it, I just got to be realistic. It's still a tournament style manga, so there is going to be some repetition to a certain degree, and there is some sort of expectation of what's going to happen. I mean, if you're looking for this deep world building stuff, political storytelling, you're not going to get it. I mean, yeah, it is kind of political in the sense that whoever's going to win this is going to be the person taking over as the successor, but it's not like Rising of the Shield Hero. But if we're talking about fights, yeah, this thing delivers. I know a lot of these mangas start to sound the same, but this next one I got for you is a little bit different because this one switches things up. It's all about the women. Next up, the War of the Greedy Witches. So imagine 32 women throughout history, some of the most famous women. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know some of them, but some of the most famous women in history pulled into a death tournament. And they're all treated like witches because they're powered up by spells. And when I'm talking about their spells, it's interesting because what powers their spells and their, I guess, magical power, if you will, is their desire. So what do they desire most? So what's the point of this whole tournament where these witches are fighting to the death? Basically, the one last survivor will get their greatest wish granted. So it could be anything. I mean, immortality, riches, bring someone back to life, whatever it may be. And if you lose, you're erased forever. It's super simple, pretty brutal, and easy to understand. Now, aside from the obvious fighting, what's cool about this manga is that the pacing is pretty fast. It's a little bit faster than Record of Ragnarok's, because most of the fights, they wrap up in 3 to 5 chapters, where Ragnarok, I feel like some of those go from 5 to 10 chapters, and they just drag on. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, a good fight, I'm cool if it drags on, as long as it's filled with action, but if there's just too much backstory, or if there's just too much lag time in between action, it gets a little stale for me. I mean, if I want to watch or if I want to read something that has a lot more story, then I'm going to go pick up a book that has that. But when it comes to tournament manga, just give me that action, man. And they do a good job of doing that here. Now, as far as the artwork goes, it's pretty clean. It's super readable. The character designs, they're actually nice. Some people will say there's just too much fan service, but I mean, after reading so much manga, it kind of doesn't really even bug me anymore. Does it for you? You guys tell me. But before we get to the bad parts of this manga or the things that they could do better, let me know if you have any other fighting or tournament style mangas that you think deserves more coverage and it's just not getting the respect that it deserves. So what are the weaknesses of this manga? In my opinion, I think some fights are predictable. If you've read enough tournament manga, you might be able to call out who the winner's going to be a little bit early. I wouldn't say a bad thing about the manga is the storytelling. I think it's actually pretty fine. But I do think that they kind of hint out a little bit too much who's probably going to take the match. But I mean, is that really so bad? Because do you really want to read this kind of manga for twists and turns? I feel like if you do, well then, hey, that's cool for you. But for me, I don't really care. I just want to see some good battles. Even if I could kind of predict who's going to win, as long as it comes out in a badass way, I'm happy with it. All right, ladies and gents, don't get stuck on a couch reading manga too long. Get your ass out, touch some iron, get to the gym, go run outside, touch some grass. Peace.